So my grandfather, my dad's father, RJ, they called him Curly. He had no hair since he was in his 20s. I mean, he had some hair, you know. They said it skips, you know, a generation. I'm like, oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Bless me, Lord. Bless me.
Yeah, right. Thank God they have toupees now. So he came to live with us, and we were living on the island. We were living on Pensacola Beach, and we didn't have a lot of rooms. We actually had, you know, Cindy and Daphne, I think, shared a room, and then I had my room, and my sisters had their room. I had my room, and my grandfather, who I loved, came, and he's going to sleep with me. So I'm like, oh my goodness. You're talking about what do they call that? You know, the generational gap. I mean, it was like 15 generational gaps. Well, he fell off. I mean, he was lots of fun. Oh my gosh, he was a lot of fun. He was single, trying to mingle. He'd go down to where the older folks would do this little dance, you know, and he'd shine his shoes all week long and go down there. He's trying to find him a wife. He did find somebody, Jane, Tarzan. So, and then, you know, he just had a great time. And so when he came to sleep, you know, live with us, and he sleep with me, that he fell off the roof years ago when he was on a roof. And so his back hurt him.
Supposed to be funny, right? It's funny. It's funny moment. Right.
I don't know yet. So, so he told me, he said, listen, look, he said, let me, something like that. he said, my back. And so he said, I gotta slide a piece of plywood board up under your mattress. I'm like, what? Right? Of course, he was my grandfather, so I had to sleep on a plywood board for his back. And then I would get up in the morning time, and he had a corset girdle. I put the girdle on, and I pull these strings back and put my foot in the middle of his back, and I just pull that thing in. I think he was trying. Now I think he was just trying to look good for the ladies because he was trying to score someone. So anyway, so one time we were there, and it was like this house had like lifted ceilings, you know, cathedral ceilings. What do you call those things? One story.
Vaulted ceilings.
Yes. Vaulted ceilings. Wow.
High. They were high.
So good. It's so good, Chris. Steve, Jim. Anyway, so
whoever you are.
And so Bobby,
we can edit that.
So okay. you know, my grandfather was always about, you know, cooking some greens and cornbread. Oh, his wife, she was amazing. He'd sit in that chair, turn the TV up full blast on the news, like, Jane, give me a sandwich. So just a minute, RJ, just a minute. I'm like, dude, you get your own sandwich. You talk to me like that.
Yeah, right.
Before I knew Jesus, I would get him one now. Anyway, so we were all doing whatever we were doing. And so he was cooking some greens in the kitchen, which was in this open area type thing. And all of a sudden we heard this big explosion take place, and we all came running. I don't know if you've ever cooked with a pressure cooker before, but here is a young man to kind of give you an idea of cooking, because he was cooking those greens with a pressure cooker. So this young man is cooking something, and it doesn't go right. Take a look. Open it, man. Shit. Wow. How hot was that?
Pretty hot by the looks of
it. Here we go. Whoa! I'm so glad I got that on camera. What a friend. I'm so glad we got that on camera as the man was losing his hand and his feet over there, right? Oh.
What a friend.
And so pressure cookers are pretty dangerous. So as I was doing some research, I saw some pressure cooker lids that were literally went through the ceiling. They were halfway through the ceiling like a flying saucer or something. I will not be using pressure cookers after this research. So anyway, we're actually doing whatever we're doing.
Microwave.
Yeah, right. Put the pressure cooker in the microwave. That might work. Yeah. And so we come running in there to find out, you know, this bomb went off. And so we go in there. My grandfather's he's got a bald head. So he had collard greens just all over his bald head. It was all over the whole entire vaulted ceiling. I mean, collard greens were everywhere. And we said, "What did you do? What did you do?" He said, "I peeked. I peeked." Oh my goodness.
I looked too early. I
looked too early, man. Hey, that's a bomb.
Yeah,
that is a bomb.
It reminds me of the stories of people trying to deep fry frozen turkeys and blowing up their whole house.
Oh, yes.
Like they have like firefighters, like safety notices to the entire county. It's like, don't do this. They'll do it on a driveway and burst a flame.
All that peanut oil going everywhere. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that. I'm like, you can't deep fry a frozen turkey? People are like, no, don't do that.
Well, I was scared of just pressure cookers, but now I'm scared of turkeys. Thank you. I guess I am a vegan. A vegan with McDonald's.
Do it outside. Just throwing it out there.
I should just call Pat, put me an extra one in there.
Just in case you have a pressure cooker lid in your ceiling.
He feeds his drugs. He injects stuff into his turkey.
That's Chris.
Oh, it's Chris?
What?
Second Street.
What?
He just said I learned it from Pat. So,
all right.
So my grandfather, I mean, he was just a lot of fun. He got saved towards the end of his life. And I got saved after that. But he had like, I don't know, probably 20 hairs on both sides of his head.
Ear hair.
I bought him a comb once. It was like a horseshoe that you could just brush both sides at the same time. That was so not nice. And so he loved it. And so he was going to go out to that dance thing with these older people in Pensacola, Florida, to go out and do his whatever they did. Rockin' Robin. Doop, doop, doop.
The bingo.
The bingo. Yes, stuff like that.
They played bingo.
I mean, he shined them shoes. You could see your face in his shoes and his head. And so he went into the bathroom. Back at this, you might not even know this, but back in the day, people would dye their own hair. Women would. My grandfather, he bought some of that hair color. He was going to color those hairs on the side of his head. Yeah, right. Like 20 hairs on both sides of his head. He was not going to have, he's going to be bald, but it was not going to be 20 gray hairs on both sides of his head. So he goes in the bathroom for the longest time. Like, what is he doing in there, right? He comes out with a plastic bag on his head because he's supposed to put a plastic bag on your head, right? And you try to find the hair.
You could go all the way down to there.
Yeah, you couldn't even find, there was no hair. I mean, just like a bald man with a plastic bag on his head. And he's like, how's it look? How's it look? The entire bathroom was the color he wanted his hair to be. The entire bathroom, the sink, everything he touched, the tub, everything was just.
So you got that. You can clean it up, right? Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I don't know. Was it burgundy or something? I don't know. I'm color gentleman, so I have no idea. But he's like, can you get that for me? I got to go dance. Gotta go to the dance. That was Dad's dad. So Dad's got his hair. He's got his hair. And I presently have mine. You will probably know if I don't have it. Can you pray with me that they all hold on, at least to the end of these television things?
I'm glad it skips a generation or two.
Yeah, right.
Good to know.
Poor Cindy. A lot of people want to abide with the Lord, but they just don't have a plan to do it. You can request that plan today at iabide.org. Thank you for watching the Greg Lancaster Show. Don't forget to follow us, like us, and subscribe. Go to our YouTube channels, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, Parler, Spotify, iTunes. Download our app, even on Getter. Go to the Apple Store and rate us. When you rate us, more people will get the broadcast. That's how this whole logarithm thing works. And thank you for watching the Greg Lancaster Show.